Hey friends, a new chapter of the Baki manga was released this week. The scans came out a bit late, which is why I couldn't upload the chapter earlier. But well, here we are, like every week, to analyze and discuss the latest chapter of this manga where Jack Hanma is the protagonist, at least for now. The cover of the chapter features Kosho Shinogi, the brother of Dr. Kuraha. In the previous chapter, Jack had gone to Mitsunari's house because the old man had summoned him to tell him something important. Jack went to the mansion, and once inside, he met with Mitsunari and asked him the reason for their meeting. The old man told Jack that there were several fighters currently interested in him. However, there was one who had personally requested a match against him. This man was none other than Kosho Shinogi, a fighter known for his unique fighting style. Kosho can use his fingers as if they were sharp blades, and with them, he can cut the nerves and ligaments of his opponents. Jack seemed interested in meeting this man, so all that was left was to set the date and time for the fight. The chapter begins by showing us a panel in which Doppo was giving a demonstration of his skills, as he always does. Doppo was cutting a type of metal wire. He cut it as if it were made of paper. It's not the first time he's done something like this, but it seems he enjoys showing his disciples that his hands are sharper than any sword. At his side was his son Katsumi, who held the wire while assisting in the demonstration. Kosho was also in the dojo, intently watching his master's demonstration. He picks up the cut piece of wire and examines it closely. Doppo boasts about his feat, saying he could achieve this because his cutting technique has evolved remarkably over the years. Doppo jokes, saying he doesn't believe his son Katsumi could do something like that. Katsumi tells him to stop bragging, that it was just a simple horizontal cut, and that surely, if he tried, he could do it too. Kosho tells Katsumi to wait a moment and to please look closely at the piece of wire. It seems Doppo's cut was so precise that the edges of the wire looked as if they had been cut with another sharp blade. Katsumi says that's an exaggeration. He still believes that anyone who knows how to use their hands could replicate that cut. Kosho was still interested in trying, so he tells Katsumi to watch him now. Doppo brings another wire to Kosho and tells him to try to cut it with his hand. On the next page, we can see this fighter preparing to cut the wire. It is interesting and fun to see these situations in the series. It's not the first time that the characters argue intensely about an action that might seem very simple to us. This time, the wire is the topic of conversation. To them, this may seem simple and even ridiculous, but to us it would be impossible to achieve. Finally, Kosho launches an attack aimed at the wire and manages to cut it effortlessly. He had relaxed his entire body and even seemed as if he used the whip strike that Katsumi masters. Kosho mentions that, unlike Doppo, he did not use his whole hand, but only one finger. In fact, this attack was so fast and precise that we can even see smoke coming out of his finger. Katsumi picks up the piece of wire and examines it closely. Kosho's cut looked as if he had cut the wire with something scorching, as the edges were completely smooth. Doppo was impressed by Kosho's demonstration. However, he says that the cut he made is completely different from his own. Cutting with the whole hand makes the cut slower and less accurate, but using a finger gives more control over the intended cut. Doppo states that while a finger cut is more precise, it wouldn't work against larger and heavier objects. For instance, if you wanted to slice a tree in half, it'd be impossible with just one finger. But if you tried with your hand, the chances are higher, and you'd have fewer risks of injury. Katsumi mentions that, either way, Kosho's cut was more accurate than his father's, and that's impressive. Kosho says Doppo is right. In a real fight, it's more important to inflict as much damage as possible. This is why he's dedicated his whole life to perfecting his cut, to match the damage he'd cause to an opponent if he used his entire hand instead of just a finger. Kosho asks Doppo if he'd be up for a little exhibition match against him. From the beginning, this had been his intention when coming to the place. It wasn't going to be an underground fight, but he wanted Doppo to fight without holding back because he was going to do the same. Katsumi is taken aback by these words, while Doppo just flashes a big smile, indicating that he accepts the challenge. Both fighters take their fighting stances in the center of the dojo. Katsumi is only going to be a spectator, so he sits off to the side to watch closely. Doppo comments on how interesting it is that even though he's younger than him, Kosho has more scars on his body. The god of war asks him if he's looking to add another scar to his body. Kosho says he just wants to know which of the two cuts is more effective in a real fight. He has always admired Doppo, but has rarely seen him use his cutting technique. Doppo tells him to stop talking and get started with the match. Kosho takes his fighting stance and readies his fingers as if they were blades. It was clear he was going to use his cutting technique right from the start. Doppo is the first to move and executes a frontal attack. He delivers a straight kick, a move widely used among practitioners of this martial art, and known for being a direct strike aimed at a specific area. Doppo's kick targeted Kosho's midsection. As a direct strike, Doppo's foot could hit a part of the opponent's body, but only in a straight line, meaning the attack could land on the face, chest, abdomen, or even the groin. But even being such a well-known attack, Kosho couldn't avoid being hit and was sent flying after the strike. However, he used the force from the kick and propelled himself using the dojo's wall to return to the very spot he was launched from. Katsumi is astonished to see that this man was able to withstand a direct kick from his father. Yet, the real reason Kosho endured that kick was that he managed to block it before it hit his chest. Katsumi noticed this when he saw that Kosho's arms took the brunt of that kick. Doppo praises Kosho for being able to predict where the kick was going to hit. He also praises him for managing to hurt him while being hit by that kick. He really moved very quickly. In the next panel, we can see that Doppo's leg had suffered considerable damage after Kosho cut in with his fingers. Doppo says that such a reaction speed is admirable as Kosho managed to cut him behind the knee at the exact moment he delivered the first attack. The God of War points out that the cutting technique is indeed formidable, as it tore an important ligament in his leg, and as a result, he probably won't be able to deliver another kick for quite some time. At that moment, Katsumi intervenes, saying that's enough. This was supposed to be an exhibition match. Katsumi seems concerned as Doppo's leg seems to be in very bad condition. Doppo tells him not to worry, that it was just a minor injury after all. The real war is about to begin. It is clear that Doppo is referring to the war that Kosho is about to wage against the biting cyborg Jack Hanma. At the end of the chapter, we see Katsumi somewhat concerned at his father's words. In the last panel, there is a text that says that what comes next will be an all-out war. Well, this chapter was a reminder of what Kosho is capable of. Itagaki reminded us that this man is extremely dangerous and that he has been perfecting his cutting technique all this time. Kosho's fingers are dangerous blades that are difficult to dodge, and he proved that he can strike even when on the defensive. Doppo came out injured from this exhibition match after receiving a cut on the back of his knee. Even Katsumi was alarmed, since it was a dangerous cut that could have caused a serious injury to his father. Even though this chapter might seem slow or boring, it was very necessary since we didn't know where Kosho stood in terms of his fighting level currently. It's been a long time since we last saw him fight, and until now, many thought he'd be easy prey for Jack. However, after this brief demonstration of power, we now know he'll be a tough opponent for Jack. I wonder if Kosho has another secret technique, because if he plans to fight using only the cutting technique, it will be difficult for him to get close and touch Jack. Speaking of the cutting technique, Jack is already familiar with it since Baki used it against him in their first fight. Jack also knows what this man is capable of after seeing him fight in the Maximum Tournament, so he knows this dangerous technique very well. It will be an exciting fight, and everything seems to indicate that in the next chapter, we will finally see these two fighters entering the underground arena to start the fight. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box. Do you think Jack will finish the fight quickly, or will Kosho give him a lot of trouble, and the fight will be more even than we think? Personally, I hope the fight doesn't conclude in one chapter. I want to see what Kosho can do, and also how Jack will deal with such a dangerous technique like this. Many anticipated that Jack would face Oliva Biscuit first, but I think it's best to save that fight for later. This fight deserves a better development, and I hope we get to see it in the future. But for now, I'm happy with what we'll see in the coming chapters. That's all for now. Don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comment box. And let me know if you'd like another questions and answers video or one analyzing theories from the series. For now, that's all, but I'll see you in a future video. Take care, and remember to exercise. And well, friends, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked it. I hope you have a nice day or night. See you soon.